Hey everybody, Jason Blaha with Ice Cream Fitness here. Just sitting here in my robe, drinking my morning coffee, looking sexy as hell as usual. Oh, by the way, let me remind you guys, if you enjoy this video or you enjoy my channel, please remember to subscribe at the top and click like down here at the bottom. But hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot. Alright, on to the topic of the video. I did a video yesterday. It was intended to be a bit controversial. I got a generally positive response with just a few people who were upset by it so far. A few of the guys who have chosen to be lifetime natural lifters were a bit demoralized by it. And my intent was not to demoralize anybody, so if I broke you down a little bit in that video, it's time to bring you back up. Really the lesson that you should be taking from that video is because the reality is the vast majority of people who use steroids, whether small amounts, large amounts, it doesn't matter, they all claim natural. And millions of people in the world use them. So if you haven't chosen that route, it's hard for you to know that somebody who you want to look like if they're on anything. And it also goes back to another point of you really shouldn't be looking at other people and using them as a standard of the physique you want, because one, you don't know what they're on. Two, you don't know what their genetics are. You might have a different bone structure. You might have different muscle insertions. And so their physique might be unobtainable to you no matter what you do. So you really shouldn't base things on that. And in some cases, I've seen people use someone as their goal physique starting out early in their training and then actually surpass that person because they chose somebody who didn't have a particularly impressive physique. For example, I've known many guys who used to use the Brad Pitt and Ed Norton from Fight Club as their role model, and the reality is if you are training hard, intelligently, and correctly for more than a year, there's no way you're going to have that crappy of a physique. Once you diet down and you're at that body fat, you're going to have more muscle than them. You're going to be more aesthetic than them, most likely, because those are not impressive physiques, or they're not hard to surpass. So sometimes people undershoot their goal. I would say to anybody who is choosing to pick what sort of physique they want and they are dedicated to staying lifetime naturally, go back and look at bodybuilders of the 1950s and the 1960s. And now, of course, the 60s is going to be controversial. A lot of guys are going to point out that most of your top bodybuilders were on something well into the 1960s, and that is true, but it still gives you a better idea. And a lot of those guys were using very, very little stuff, and there were still quite a few clean ones still. But particularly the 50s, and that will give you an idea of the sort of physiques that can be obtained clean. And also, I mean, some people will even argue with the 50s because we do know now, and it's come out, that pretty much most of our Olympic athletes, particularly weightlifting athletes in both the US, Russia, and much of Europe were already on steroids before the end of the 50s. It's pretty well come out now, and we know that. But it hadn't gone into large circulation into the bodybuilding community yet. So that can give you a good example. And because we do know more about nutrition since back then, it is easier to get a bit leaner. So those sort of physiques with a little less body fat, a little more definition, is a very obtainable goal. So that's the sort of goal you should be shooting for. And that's realistic and reasonable. But even then, I want to go back to the point of you really shouldn't be picking other people for your goals. Bodybuilding and lifting in general, this is a lifestyle. It's a journey. It's not about having a final goal physique. It's about continually improving, enjoying the ride, and just making the most out of yourself. It's about finding your own potential, not finding somebody else's potential. It's about saying that even if I look pretty good this year, I can continue to improve. I'm going to continue to train hard. I'm going to continue to use reasonable training and nutrition methods, and I'm going to continue to improve year after year. And that's really what it's about. It's about just continually improving. It's about competing with yourself, not competing with somebody else. And at the end of the day, guys, that is what it's really about. It's about self-improvement and being all that you can be, and realizing that no matter where you are, you can continue to improve. All right, guys, that's really all I have to say on that, and I will talk to you next time.